Alrighty, so I thought I would add some context to that photo I put out on my community tab just a couple of days ago about getting my Mavic 2 Pro stuck up in a tree. Yeah, so this is the second time I've wrecked that drone, and this time I sort of did it in. What's good, guys? Ken here. You're watching Original Dobo, and today we're talking about me being an absolutely terrible pilot and the mistake that I made that landed my Mavic 2 Pro on its way back to DJI for repair, and a mistake that I could have easily avoided. This has been a really bad month for me about tech, and in this video we're also going to talk about a couple of other things that you should definitely keep an eye out for when you're keeping drones long term. So first off, how did my Mavic 2 end up in the tree? Well, I started filming this property for an agent. It was a rather large property. It was only aerials, which I very, very seldom just get aerials, but he wanted aerials of a property that was 59 acres, massive property. I started filming the entrance to this ranch, and there was a lot of low lying tree coverage, and I wanted to fly down this drive because there was a lot of canopy. It just looked great. So I made the decision to shut off obstacle avoidance, and I forgot to turn obstacle avoidance back on. Now, the reason why I turned obstacle avoidance off is because the Mavic 2 Pro's sensors kept picking up low hanging vines, and I needed to be able to fly past those. So I turned it off and I went down the driveway, no problem. That was definitely not an issue. Going back by the house, there was still a lot of tree coverage. I took off and I was talking to the agent and my hands were on the stick. Two mistakes I made was, one, I had it in sport mode, and two, I had the obstacle avoidance off, which obstacle avoidance in sport mode would have been off anyhow. And it started leaning towards a tree and there was a lot of wind. It was probably gusting about 20 miles an hour. And at this particular time, it started gusting really heavy and it blew the Mavic 2 Pro towards the tree. And I probably could have saved it from going totally into the tree, but somehow I must have hit the stick up, hit a branch above me, and got itself wedged in the tree. Luckily enough, I was on a farm and there was access to a ladder, a really tall ladder, mind you. It was probably like a 20-foot ladder or so. And I thought I can climb up the tree. The Mavic 2 Pro was about 10 or 30 feet up in the tree. And as soon as we hit the tree with the ladder, the freaking Mavic 2 Pro started tumbling out of the tree. On its way down, it hit every single branch all the way down and it knocked the battery out. And I'm pretty sure that that was the saving grace to protecting the airframe of this drone. But it landed nose down. It didn't appear that it had any damage, but there was, dust and debris in the Mavic 2 Pro, but there was no physical damage. I was able to complete the flight, but what I noticed was that the gimbal was off-centered. It would no longer, center up. It just kept going off-centered, off-axis. I was able to, accommodate that, the way the gimbal was flying. So it wasn't like a big deal for the video because you really couldn't tell, but I knew there was something wrong. So I immediately sent it back to DJI so they can go ahead and take a look at the gimbal, see what's going on, see if it needs to be calibrated, maybe in-house or just replaced, because this is the second time that I've wrecked this. The first time I was flying in sport mode really low and it hit a chain link fence, and again, no physical damage to the drone, which I got really lucky. This time it fell from 30 feet and yet again, no physical damage, so still pretty lucky, but the gimbal definitely looks like there's some problems. So the biggest mistake I made was I took my eyes off the drone for a split second to talk to the realtor. And this is something that I typically never do. And just in that split second, this mistake happened. And it can happen to anybody, whether you're an experienced pilot, great pilot, it doesn't matter, it can happen. It was embarrassing because this agent was recommended to me and I was preferred to this agent as a professional pilot. And here I am basically climbing a tree to get my drone down. It was really hard to explain. It was just a really embarrassing situation. Not only that, the broker was there as well. Luckily for me, the video came out great, but I wish this experience didn't happen. Although the guy did decide to go with my services for his future business, but I could have made a better impact on him if that didn't happen. Luckily enough, he was definitely understanding. So in keeping a drone for as long as I have, there's a couple of things that you want to consider when you're dealing with stuff like this. Maintenance. Maintenance is huge, and some of the things that you can consider for maintenance would be props, making sure you check over your airframe if there's any screws exposed. A lot of times on the Mavic 2 Pro, there's Torx bits. Just give them a good little tighten once in a while, and also make sure there's no dust or debris in the ESCs. The other reason why I sent the drone into DJI specifically was because dirt entered the ESC when it smashed into the ground, and I didn't know what impact that would have, if any, in the long run, and I didn't want to risk this drone potentially falling out of the air and me either losing it or damaging somebody's property. So I just made the decision to send it in for them to service. It's probably going to cost me like $400 to get whatever this is fixed, maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure. But honestly, it's pretty much worth it. And I'm really impressed with the quality of the Mavic 2 Pro and what it's able to withstand, because man, this thing hit the ground pretty hard twice now and no real physical damage. The second thing that I've been having an issue with is, you guys, I talked about the fact that I bought a boosted board a couple of months back to do the Skydio review so I could do tracking and everything. I'm having like the worst luck with electronics this past month. Went through a motor at only 88 miles. So 88 miles in on my boosted board, the motor went. Luckily for me, a good friend and somebody who subscribed to the channel for a long time, Bob Fiore, said to me, he goes, "Hey, I've got a spare motor, and if you want it, it's yours. Just send me your address, I'll ship it out to you." And I was like, at first I was like, no, I don't want to take your spare motor, because if this happens to me, it could happen to you. But he was insistent upon me taking the motor, so I did. I'm back up and operational. Still having some issues with the battery, so hopefully Boosted responds to me at some point. They have the worst customer service, so if you've been considering getting an e-board, I would highly suggest that you look elsewhere besides Boosted, because my experience has been absolutely horrible. I'm still waiting. I'm going on right now 11 days, no response from Boosted support. So anybody who ever complains about DJI support, I promise you, you don't know bad support until you've dealt with Boosted board. Now, some people said they've had great support, no issues, and some people said they've had bad support. I'm in that, percentage of people who are having bad support with Boosted. So hopefully that gets resolved and I can get back and up and running. But I've set a goal for myself this month, the month of March, that I'm not going to buy any new gear, not purchasing any new drones whatsoever this entire month. I want to try to not buy anything for YouTube this month and just use what I have, because I don't know if you guys know, a lot of money gets spent on this channel to build this production, to build the set out, and I just want to see if I can not buy anything on Amazon. That's going to be a hard thing to do, but I think I can definitely do it. Also, this week there is no stream on Wednesday because I'm going to be traveling, and I don't want to stream in a hotel because it's just not going to be able to deliver the same amount of quality that we've been getting. So no stream this Wednesday. Also, if you haven't already, I have episodes airing on Half Chrome Drones channel. Damn, that's a tongue twister. Basically, it's a 5-minute news segment wrapping up everything that's happened in the news. I've considered bringing it to this channel. I don't know. I'm still like iffy on whether or not I want to keep it over there or not. So you guys will have to let me know in the comment section after you watch that episode if I should leave it there or bring it here. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so that's the week. That's why the Mavic ended up in the tree. It's hopefully coming back to me. Some people said to me, they said, well, if you had the Skydio 2, that wouldn't have happened. And even if I had the Skydio 2, Skydio wouldn't have been able to take off in the area that I was in, and the Skydio would have gave me some very, very robotic footage. So that's the beautiful thing about full control over your drone. You're able to get the shots that you want. But alrighty, that's gonna do it. Just wanted to give a little update video, and I will see you in the next one. Stay original.